Hola, me llamo Señor Adams. Hoy vamos a hablar sobre el presente perfecto, or the present perfect. Recall that to form the past participle of a verb in Spanish, you add ado to the stem of AR verbs and ido to the stem of ER and IR verbs. Let's look at a few examples. So, for the verb hablar, you would chop off the AR and add ado, hablado, which in English means spoken. Okay? Then, for the verb comer, chop off ER and add IDO or ido for comido, which is eaten. Next, we have vivir. For vivir, we're going to chop off the IR and add ido, vivido, which means lived. Okay, next. The present perfect is a compound tense that is formed according to this pattern. We have present tense of haber plus past participle. So let's look at a few examples. Let's take the verb hablar. So we'll start with the verb haber. We have a, and then we do the same thing we saw above, chop off the AR and add ado, hablado. Next we have has hablado, ha hablado, hemos hablado, habéis hablado, han hablado. So just looking at these, we can see the form of haber is the first word, so a, as, a, and then hemos, habéis, han, right? And then the forms of hablar do not change. They're all hablado. They all have ado at the end. Okay? So it's a compound verb, and they mean have done something. So I have spoken. You have spoken. He or she has spoken. So that's how you translate it. And remember, we do not pronounce the letter H. Letter H is silent. Okay. Verbs that have two vowels in the infinitive form, except for UI, require an accent mark on the I in the past participle. So let's look at a few examples of that. Caer, caído, which means fallen. Traer, traído, which means brought. Oír, oído, which means heard. Reír, reído, which means laughed. Now, there's two more. Leer, leído, which is read. And then we have creer, creído, which means believed. Many Spanish verbs have irregular past participles. you have already learned some of these. So let's look at some irregulars. We've got abrir, abierto, decir, dicho, escribir, escrito, morir, muerto, poner, puesto, resolver, resuelto, romper, roto, ser, sido, ver, visto, hacer, hecho. Let's talk about what these mean. Abierto, opened. Dicho, said. Escrito, written. Muerto, died. Puesto, put. Resuelto, resolved. Roto, broken. Sido, been. Visto, seen. Hecho, did or done. Now let's look at some uses of the present perfect. The present perfect is used to describe past events or actions that have been going on up to and into the present. As in English, it is used to describe events that have or have not happened. Let's look at an example. Compare. Trabajé mucho ayer. I worked a lot yesterday. This is in the preterite. Now we have he trabajado mucho esta semana. I have worked a lot this week. So we had I worked and I have worked. Okay, next example. No comí en este restaurante. I didn't eat in that restaurant. Again, we're using the preterite. Next one. Todavía no he comido en este restaurante. I still haven't eaten in that restaurant yet. This one is in the present perfect. Now, to form the present perfect tense, combine the present tense of the verb haber with a past participle. For example, no he reparado la bicicleta todavía. I haven't repaired the bicycle yet. ¿Qué trabajos has tenido? What jobs have you had? Next, place negative words, object pronouns, and reflexive pronouns before the form of haber. For example, no he repartido las flores todavía. I have not delivered the flowers yet. Mi profesora me ha escrito una carta de recomendación. My professor has written me a letter of recommendation. And, as we see, the indirect object pronoun comes before the verb ha escrito. Okay, next example. El dueño se ha ido temprano a la oficina. The owner has left the office early. This is from the verb ir, se, which is to leave. So we have se comes before ha ido, has left. With reflexive verbs, the reflexive pronoun precedes haber. For example, ¿Te has divertido mucho? Have you enjoyed yourself a lot? From the verb divertirse. Okay, I hope you are starting to understand the present perfect a little better. Adios.